Small town in the middle of nowhere? Check. Dark and mysterious priest? Check. High drama? Check. Horror and thrills? Check, check. All right, let's dive into the HBO original Monedas, or for us Americans, 30 coins. An exiled priest tries to escape his demons while living in a remote village in Spain. I watched the trailer first, so I know a little of what the series is about. To put your mind at ease, this will be a spoiler-free review of episodes 1 and 2, but I'm going to give you a little background from the trailer first. This is a horror thriller mystery with a lot of religion thrown in. When Judas betrayed Jesus, he was paid 30 silver coins. Flash to modern day, where someone is searching for these coins because whoever possesses them will have a weapon supposedly greater than that of the Ark of the Covenant. Obviously, people are searching for this because who doesn't want phenomenal cosmic power without the itty-bitty living space? So the first episode is a bit rough, at least at the beginning. We're introduced to who we discover are some of the main players. There's Elena, the small town vet, Paco, the mayor of said town, and Padre Vergara, the new town priest who has a shroud of mystery surrounding him. We begin to get a little background on them, but what I'm discovering over at least these first 2 episodes is that we'll get more and more info on the players as we progress. Episode 1 starts off with a complicated animal birth bringing Elena to the scene, and then involving Paco because of the nature of the birth. They don't want to get the town all up in arms, and Paco is the mayor, so he'll supposedly know the best way to handle the situation. They meet with Padre Vergara for guidance, and I love how much of a skeptic he is. He's jaded, he's seen and experienced way too much, so he's not easily swayed or influenced by local beliefs or superstitions. The Padre is a tough-looking man, too. He's got a shaved head, long beard, and is in pretty good shape due to his workout regimen, which includes a ton of heavy bag punching. I get the sense that he's not just exercising his health when he punches the bag. We're also shown some insights into his mindset, which are yet to be developed, but they make me think that something very exciting is going to be on the horizon. The editing in this show so far is jerky and abrupt. Sometimes it feels very clunky as we transition from scene to scene. It's not always that way, and I began to get used to it as well. The first episode incorporates some very odd and disturbing imagery. The special effects aren't always the greatest, and a lot of the time they try to hide that imperfections by putting the scenes at night in relative darkness. There's some good excitement that comes in this episode as well, and we get the sense that some characters that are introduced are going to have a greater impact and influence in the future episodes. But one thing that is odd to me is that for the first episode, the coins are not really mentioned or addressed, save for an early scene and a slight exchange of dialogue later in the episode. Had I not seen the trailer, I'm not sure I'd really know what the show was about or where it was ultimately headed. Luckily, in the second episode, the issue of the coins take a slightly more prominent role. It gives us more context and setting up even more of the universe that this show is building. The second episode continues to retain odd imagery, but it's definitely not a rehash of episode 1, which I'm grateful for. I mean, the story is progressing, it's increasing the drama and the mystery, and my intrigue level rose as the episode went on. And again, like in the first episode, when the show employs bigger special effects, these are done at night to hide the imperfections. And I didn't really mind because, at least in the second episode, it wasn't the main focus. It was just something that was happening in the scene for excitement. There's a bit of a time jump from episode 1 to episode 2. I didn't realize it until a line of dialogue was spoken and not at the beginning of the episode. The second episode is employing a lot of supernatural elements, some of which are yet to be explained. And there's some shadowy figures that we can understand who or what they are, but not how they appear. And I'm enjoying that part of the mystery. There is some crazy violence in the first episode, but they managed to amp it up even more in the second. One scene in particular made me squirm and wince. The violence utilized, though, doesn't feel exploitative. It's just put there to make it gritty, and each moment fits with the story context and adds to the drama and the thrills. While I was watching this, I kept thinking to myself that the performances were rather melodramatic. The players get all up in arms about things and are very demonstrative in their expressions, but I was wrong. I mean, this isn't melodramatic. It's just a cultural difference. And this being a Spanish production, they're passionate, and not unlike many other European cultures. For many of us sheltered and emotionally stunted Americans, the passion comes across as wildly overdramatic. We stuff our emotions until we explode, and many of us have that mindset that to be passionate over something is negative. So if you're watching this as an American, keep in mind the players aren't blowing things out of proportion or flying off the handle every time they raise their voice and talk with their hands. Having that in mind, the acting is really good. The characters portray a wide gamut of emotions. I wish Paco would be a bit more strong in his stances, but I get the sense that there's something in his past relationships that are shaping his present. He's a little uncertain or timid, even though he tries to come off as confident. Elena also has some baggage, and I can't wait to see how they unpack it and how that influences her character's actions. While the first episode helps to set the stage, the second episode really gets the gears moving in terms of story arc. We know now that the coins are the focus of the show, and not just because it's the title. The episodes begin to have them as a focus of the narrative. I think also the theme of family could play prominently in the show. So far, the first 2 episodes have a focus on familial relationships, so we'll see how it's going to have, if it's going to even have, a larger influence. Obviously, this is rife with religious overtones, themes, and beliefs. And depending on your beliefs, some of this may tweak you or offend you, or resonate completely. I watch this from an entertainment perspective, not a commentary on theology. And that helped me keep it into perspective and also helped me enjoy it. The first episode is about an hour and 15 minutes, while the second comes in at right about an hour in length. They do have a good pace to them despite some of the jumpy editing, but I'm very excited to see where the series is going to go from here. And if all goes as planned, I will bring you reviews of all the new episodes. There's no sex or nudity, a lot of profanity, and a bunch of brutal violence. For the first 2 episodes of 30 Coins, I give it 4 out of 5 couches. So are there any good thrillers you're watching lately? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.